Hello, I'm ABXToyCat and welcome back to the video. Today I want to talk about Pokemon Go and specifically how it's one of the worst handled games of all time. I was contemplating making this video before the most recent update came out, but that really does just take the cake and show that they have no idea what they're doing at Niantic, or if they do, they're deliberately trying to just make everyone really angry at the game. And either way, I want to talk about why it's so poorly handled and to give you my thoughts on it and also explain the whole situation in today's video. So hopefully you all do enjoy it. If you do, like it and let me know because it helps out the channel a lot, and let's maybe do like the Pokemon Go videos. This one will be a bit more ranty and, angry than normal, so if you don't like that, then in 2 hours from when this video goes live, there will be a Morrowind stream. Maybe you want to see me play Morrowind. I haven't played it ever before, so that should be interesting. But if you do want to hear me talk about Pokemon, then you're in the right video, because let's start by talking about the very, very earliest version of Pokemon, where it all kind of came from, about a month and a half, 2 months ago. So, although we've had Pokemon Go advertised to us in some form of thing in trailers for about 2 years now, ever since April Fool's 2014, the first time we really got hands-on with the game was about a month and a half, 2 months ago, when they launched the game and said, oh yeah, this is an early version, but if you want to go catch Pokemon, you can. And of course, people love the idea of being able to catch Pokemon on their phones, so it became one of the most downloaded apps of all time. And even though it was lacking features, all it really had when it first launched was like, oh yeah, you can catch Pokemon, and there's Pokestops and Pokegyms where you can kind of fight. There wasn't all of the key features of the Pokemon games, but again, people love it because you go out into the real world, you can hunt Pokemon, and that is a great thing. So yeah, it's been about a month and a half since that happened, and you might think, oh, well, they, like I said, there's very few features, they must be working on adding new ones. And although they've kind of hinted at that a lot of times, what's really happened in the time since is that the game has just gotten worse and worse, because obviously so many people downloading the game, I kind of get, they weren't expecting as big success as they had. This is so much more successful than that other game, which is called Ingress and is basically Pokemon Go but without the Pokemon. But yeah, so this is a massively successful game, so the servers are going to go down on the first few days, of course. Well, you might think, well, eventually they're going to get that fixed because they are the #1 grossing apps. They've got a lot of money rolling in. Oh yeah, they can just buy new servers or they can do something like that. Well, if they have done that, they've done a poor job at implementing them, because for the past month and a half, the game has been getting just the same amount, if not more, server crashy, where just, oh, suddenly you're trapped on the Pokeball screen. Oh, you finally found a rare encounter? Well, guess what? The game crashed, so you can't actually catch it. So many times this happened to people, and it's very frustrating. But again, people put up with it because it's like, well, it's a new game, and you're catching Pokemon. Isn't that amazing? But things have gone worse, and the app itself, I don't know how, it just has gone more and more buggy. Just randomly, you're walking around, oh, you can't control anything. You have to reset it, and this gets even worse at peak times. If you're playing at like 5 PM in the UK, for instance, it just gets to the point where you have to restart the app every few minutes if you want to get anything done, which is really, really annoying, as you might imagine. But yeah, again, everyone's putting up with it because we're all waiting for this grand vision of what's coming next, and they even speak about it at a Comic-Con panel. They're like, okay, guess what? Trading's coming, legendaries are coming, we're gonna have a better way to train people, we're gonna have Pokemon centers, all this sort of stuff. They give us this big hype about what's coming next, and then what does happen? Well, first of all, a massive bug happens to the tracking system. The way you're meant to track Pokemon in Pokemon Go is you can go around and you can, there's a number of steps that let you know how many steps away a Pokemon is, or like how far away it is. If it's 1 step away, it's somewhere really, really close. If it's 3 step away, try and find it a bit closer. Well, what happened is this system just broke randomly. I have no idea why. I think it was a server-side issue, where basically instead of showing you 1, 2, or 3 steps, it just all says 3 steps away. So, is there an Eevee? Well, it's 3 steps away. That could mean anywhere. And because a Pokemon only exists for 10 to 15 minutes, it means that if you see a really rare Pokemon in that thing, you just have to guess which direction it's in and hope you're in the right place. But, that's fine because there were websites out there to help you and to fix this. One was called Pokevision, which allowed you to see which Pokemon were in your nearby area. It was basically the tracking system, but a little bit more improved than it probably should have been in the game. But again, there was no way to do it in the game, so people start using Pokevision, and it's a really great time. You can actually know where to look, and it encourages you to go and explore new areas. Because right now, the 3 steps only encourages you to go about, I think it's like 100, 200 meters, whereas you could know that, oh yeah, if I just run a kilometer, I can get a Dratini. And I did that in real life. I ran, I knew there was a match shop despawning in 12 minutes, and I was about 20 minutes away. I had to run on stream in London, and it was a really, really cool moment. So yeah, great moments are coming out of this new Pokevision tool, and things are really exciting. Even though the servers are still crashing regularly, people have found out a way to actually catch Pokemon. However, what they do is they say, okay, we're going to be fixing the 3-step bug in the next update. They hint at trading and legendaries, like I mentioned, and they even say, oh yeah, we're also going to be having a better way to train your Pokemon. So the new update starts to roll out, and it's really, really exciting what's going to be inside it. So we check the patch notes, and they've removed the 3-step bug. That's all the patch notes say, and it's like, okay, let's play the game itself. And since the update's still rolling out most of the way down the world, if you haven't got it yet, what the update actually does is it removes the steps altogether. So now instead of saying everything's 3 steps away, it just gives you no steps, and they think that's fixing it. At the same time, they've made the API not work with Pokevision, so you can't find that, and it means there's no way to actually track a particular Pokemon. You just have to go around and hope you find the right one. So they literally just removed a feature, but that's not even the worst part of this update, because this update, something to do with the way they implemented it, also means that certain random people, like a decent number of people, just lost their accounts. Lots of famous people, on Twitter have been complaining that, oh yeah, my account just went missing. And what is that, Niantic? This is a month and a half of, constant server issues, constant app issues, the three-step bug making the game unplayable for most, and you remove all of that, you break people's accounts, and you don't fix any of these actual game-crashing bugs in the meantime. It sounds like a joke. This could be another April Fool's joke where they're like, we got you, we didn't really delete your account, except they did. That's what really happened to a lot of people, and these are people who could have spent a lot of money. So there's a big just revolt against this, people are refunding all their stuff, and even in spite of this, there's still been no official response from the company. They haven't said, oh, we're sorry, we're going to fix that, your accounts will be back. They haven't said, oh yeah, we're going to put the footsteps back in next time, we're just, removing them for server strain reasons, even though they're done locally, so that doesn't make sense. But the thing that makes this way, way worse is the fact that there is no community manager for the game, because there was a guy who's called, he says he's the Niantic community manager, but what he actually responded is just like, oh yeah, I only do Ingress community manager. There is no community manager for Pokemon right now. He said we're hiring or something like that. So there is no community manager for this game, but there is one for their game, which is like 1/10 the size. And basically what that means is they launched this game. They didn't think that anyone would be playing it. In the month and a half since then, they've either been doing nothing or they've been only focusing on launching this game in other places, and they haven't focused at all on like actually fixing any bugs. They haven't focused on actually saying anything to anyone. They haven't hired a community manager. They've just said, that'll get done eventually by someone, right? Or they've just assumed there is one, and they haven't had any real community talk besides that one Comic-Con panel where they just spoke about a bunch of stuff that's coming, which, by the way, none of it actually came in that update. They just fixed the three-step bug by removing it, and that is why Pokemon Go is one of the worst handled games ever. I cannot think of a single game that launched, like 2 months ago, then in that 2 months has done nothing but get worse and worse and worse, and then starts removing features and claiming it's fixing them. What even is that? I really cannot think of the circumstances behind this, and what makes it even worse is that Niantic is an Alphabet company. You might not have heard of Alphabet because realistically everyone knows them as Google, but Alphabet is basically the rebranding of Google, so they can have separate products. Niantic are part of that, so they don't have to work directly with Google, but they're all ex-Google employees, or like Google Maps employees, and they're working with Nintendo, the Pokemon company. Basically, this is a real company with like a real number of staff, with like real goals and stuff, and their entire response has just been, well, yeah, we're just gonna remove the three-step bug, don't worry, we got you covered here, and they've done nothing else. There's no one working on community or doing any form of outreach, and what makes it even worse is the CEO's account got hacked because his password was like no pass. What is this? The Niantic are one of the worst game companies ever, and I think when you a lot of the time you hear the internet get up and crazy about something, it's kind of an overreaction, but this is the exact opposite. This is one of the most popular games of all time being broken and being ruined by a company having no idea what to do with it. And that is why Pokemon Go is the worst game ever, or the worst handled game ever. I really want to believe it's going to be great, but I'm not even going to bother playing it for a really long time until they fix either Pokevision or the three-step bug. And I'd recommend that if you want to kind of boycott the thing, I'd recommend you do the same. But that's just my opinion. I don't care what you do. Hopefully you did all enjoy this little ranty video. If you did, like it and let me know. If you didn't, let me know in the comments or dislike the video. Share the video if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here. I make videos not like this one, and not on Pokemon Go for a very long time, every single day on my channel, and if you want to hear me talk about words and stuff, then you can see those daily on your homepage. Like I said, got a Morrowind stream at 8 PM today, UK time. I think that's 2 hours when this video goes live. If you want to check that out, you can, but if you don't, then shrug. So thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.